Hi guys, it's Kel here, and I should have posted a video yesterday along with Rachel for Thankful Thursdays. Unfortunately my Thursday didn't have enough hours in and I just didn't get a chance to make the video, so I'm really sorry about that guys, and I am going to make the video and answer those questions now. So the question that Rachel and I are looking at this week is kind of a continuation to what we looked at last week really, and it was a question that came sort of in response to the videos that we both made last week. So that question came in as, so I suppose I have two questions for the board. Firstly, how do you overcome the fear of weight gain from antidepressants, rational or not? And secondly, once on antidepressants, how can one deal with emotions again? I often describe myself as numb and in the past have used self-injury to feel again. When stuck in the cycle of depression, I feel that the world is moving and changing, but I'm standing still unable to feel anything. So as I mentioned in the video that I made last week, I actually don't have any direct personal experience of antidepressants. It wasn't something that I used as part of my treatment, part of my recovery process. However, I do definitely relate to both of these points in the case of fear of weight gain and in feeling numb and sort of learning to feel your emotions again. So in response to the first point about weight gain and antidepressants, I can certainly see a rational side and a non-rational side to this. If you're severely underweight from your eating disorder, then in some senses it could be a good thing if your antidepressant did cause you to gain weight, because it could make you become a bit more physically stable, which would be really important. However, I appreciate how difficult weight gain is for people with eating disorders. I know I found it very, very difficult, and I can understand a little bit about how difficult it might be to gain that weight from a tablet as opposed to food. I certainly would have felt a bit overwhelmed, I think, having felt a little less out of control if I couldn't sort of consume the right amount of calories to gain weight. So I think really on that point what I wanted to say as well was that with any tablet there's side effects, and for some antidepressants weight gain is a side effect. However, it's not going to be a side effect for everybody. And if your doctor or your psychiatrist is suggesting that you try an antidepressant, I really do think that they're suggesting it for a reason and it's worth trying it. And if you do start to gain weight and you do feel uncomfortable with that, then it's certainly something to talk to them about. I know not all antidepressants will cause weight gain, and I'm sure it's possible, particularly if you express your concerns first for your doctor or your psychiatrist to hopefully give you medication that's not going to cause weight gain if that really is a big fear for you. So moving on to the second point, once on antidepressants, how can one deal with emotions again? Now again, I haven't dealt with antidepressants myself, however when I started to recover I certainly moved from sort of a state of feeling numb to moving through all the emotions that my eating disorder had sort of been there to suppress, and my depression had been there to suppress as well. And I think really whether you use antidepressants or not, this is a process that you're going to go through during recovery, and perhaps as you sort of go into treatment and start to physically recover more than anything and your brain begins to function better, that's sort of the time at which you're going to start feeling your emotions, whether you're comfortable with that or not, and that can be quite distressing. But I don't really think it's something that you kind of have to make yourself go through. It kind of happens naturally when you begin to recover, and it can be a scary process, and I can understand why you would be apprehensive of that. But I know that many of us here at the channel have sort of had to go through that experience, and I think the majority of us sort of feel stronger for the experience. And I know I quite embrace my emotions now, having gone for such a long period of time feeling so numb. If I feel upset, I cry. If I feel happy and I want to laugh, I laugh. If I'm feeling slightly hyperactive and crazy, I'm sure I really concern my friends sometimes and do some crazy things. But I think really that's just what recovery is about, and about learning to live with your emotions. And I think that I've started to really appreciate my emotions as something positive, and it does happen naturally. It isn't necessarily going to be related to antidepressant. I mean, certainly antidepressant should help and should lift the depression a bit, but processing your emotions is something that's going to happen with or without the antidepressant. Some of the ways in which I sort of dealt with starting to feel no emotions was in writing, which I know I've mentioned plenty of times, and was in talking to people and sharing my feelings and expressing my feelings through physical activity, through drawing, painting. And I think as you begin to feel your emotions in recovery, it is really important to find an outlet that works for you, whatever that might be. I have a friend that likes to go and stand in a field and just scream and let it all out, and I think that's really great. I think that it's really important to embrace your emotions in recovery. I unfortunately can't say, okay, this is the best way to do it, because it's going to be individual to you. But like I said, I've written and I've drawn and I've painted. I have my friend who goes into fields and screams, and some people like to exercise as long as that's not detrimental to their eating disorders recovery. And talking in therapy, talking with friends or family, whoever it is that you trust. Talking on forums is something that I've done a lot as well. So hopefully it's sort of, you can find something that works for you, but it's definitely trial and error, and it's okay to struggle at times and to find some emotions easier than others. I think that's definitely something that I found, I found anger a difficult emotion for me to deal with, and I had to find a way to accept that, and it did take me some time, but you will get there. And if you take nothing else from these videos, hopefully that you can see that recovery really is possible, and that it's okay to have fear of these things, but that don't let the fear stop you, because you can become well and you can start to live the life that you imagine yourself living. So hopefully that answers the question a little bit, and if it doesn't, I'm really sorry, and I'm sorry about my video being late again. So until next week guys, take care, goodbye.